Power for Living with Bishop Dale C. Bronner.
When you get hungry, you start searching for something to eat. That you start searching for solutions. You start searching for alternatives. Whenever there is a hunger in you, all of the days of my appointed time while I wait until my change comes, just waiting for a change, waiting for a change, waiting for a change. I'm going to wait on my change to come into my life. I'm waiting for this particular change to move into my life, to begin to invade my life. I'm just waiting on this change. And so while I'm waiting, I'm looking for it because I've got a crisis. I've got a problem in my life. Now I'm hungry for solutions. I'm looking for it. I'm looking to see what can I satisfy this hunger with. And so it starts the search. It starts the search. There has to be a crisis. Thomas Edison was working on some very important experiments, and all of a sudden he had a crisis in his life. He couldn't pay his gas bill. He had a gas light. They cut his gas off because he owed $5 and couldn't pay it, and they cut his gas off. He was in there in the dark, in the midst of an important experiment. So what did he do? He got hungry for a solution. He said, I'm going to give this gas company a run for their money. He became the founder of the company that we know today as General Electric. And he created the first working light bulb. It's amazing. He had a lot of failure because it took about 1,000 attempts to find the right filament material to work inside of the light bulb. And he wouldn't give up, but you see, he had a problem, a crisis, by having his gas turned off. The gas turned off created a crisis. The crisis created a hunger. The hunger started him to searching for an alternative. And he said, I'm going to become their worst nightmare. And he started searching. He started searching. Whenever you got a problem, you need to get hungry and you need to start searching. If you seek, blessed are those that seek, for they shall find. Seek and ye shall find. Ask and it shall be given. Knock and the door shall be open. See, so you'll find that this thing works in a progression, that God creates a crisis in your life. The crisis produces a hunger. The hunger produces a search. Once you are on the search, when you start seeking, when your spiritual antenna are up, the search thing is searching out things, and so now solutions can come to you when you are in expectant mode. Remember, hope is expectation of favorable change. Expectation of favorable change. Expectation of favorable change. You ought to be expecting things to happen in your life. Good, positively. You ought to be expecting things to get better. You ought to expect the coming year to be the best year of your life thus far. You ought to have expectation that my marriage is going to improve, that my children are going to be better. Have expectations that are positive for favorable change. And here they were in this position of coming and now having a crisis in their life. The crisis produces a hunger. The hunger starts the search. And the search then brings revelation. You'll have your eureka moment. That's it. That's it. Eureka. I've got it. It came because of a search. The search came because of a hunger. The hunger came because of a crisis. God has a way of bringing a crisis into your life to cause you to become hungry for answers, hunger for Him, hungry for something to be filled, because He sometimes has to make you lose stuff so that you'll find the real stuff. And the crisis begins to grow you up, because the whole emphasis is that this thing is not about stuff. It is not about what you do. It's about who you are. The real identity of what you do comes through the revelation of who you are. And so he says, I want to even take this emphasis off of your stuff that you have, your money that you have. I'll create a crisis and I'll mess with your stuff because I want to mature you. Not that I want to hurt you. I'm not trying to destroy you. I'm trying to mature you. I'm trying to mature you. So he matures us through the process called crisis. Crisis creates hunger. Hunger puts us on a search. Search brings us to revelation. You don't stop at revelation. The revelation should then lead us on a path toward realization. Realization. If you don't put shoes to your revelation, it was all in vain. You got to realize it, actualize it in your life. Revelation, now that I know what to do, now you got to have the wisdom and the intestinal fortitude to do it. You got to realize this thing that, hey, I know what I need to do now. Now do it. Once you do it, it's saying realize that thing. Realize your thing. Don't just come and say, okay, I know how to do it now. Then go ahead and do it. You're not finished until you come to the realization stage. This is our maturity in Christ, where we are then able to come to that place where we are able to serve God in obedience and in love passionately toward Him, because He has matured us through the crisis that ultimately brought us to a greater realization of the grace of God in our own lives. That's the way that God works in us through a crisis to bring us to a new level of development. And I want you to notice here that the Bible says, will I wait till my change come? I will wait till my change come. This word come in the original Hebrew, it means in one sense to abide or to set in. You see, you can have some change and people can lose faith in you because they've seen you change before, but it didn't hold. But this change, it says, I will wait until my change come. That is, I will wait till the change comes in my life and it is established, that it is stable. It is stable. I will wait till my change come. I will wait till my change come. One picture here is of a racehorse that is already ready, raring to go, and he's locked behind the gates. And he's just waiting for the gates to be opened, to be lifted, so that he can go running, charging, just ready to go, ready to go. Here's another picture of what it really means that I will wait till my change comes. It's like when a woman is in labor and delivery with a child, and she is in the dilation process. Her body is constantly going through changes. She gets around 4 to 6 or 7 centimeters. She's in transition because something is happening. And every time a contraction hits her that brings her in crisis, puts her in crisis, makes her hungry because they won't let you eat once you start in labor. You get awfully hungry. You start searching for something to take away that pain. And what happens, she's waiting on her change to come. One of the ways, my change to come, it is actually my renewal. Another version says my release. I've got something in me and I'm ready for it to be released, for my release to come. That means I'm ready. I'm the horse behind the gate. I'm raring to go. I am so ready to go. You realize that God has put a gift on the inside of you and you are ready to go. You are just waiting for an opportunity. You've been practicing and you are just waiting for the right platform to be open to you. It just give you a minute at the mic. If they can just let you just have a showing, just let you make your presentation, because I am ready. I've been working on this thing. I know it backward and forward. I am just ready, waiting on the right opportunity to come. Has anybody ever been here in a place where you feel like I got some stuff and I am just waiting on my opportunity, waiting for my change to come, my release to come, because I am ready to go? But the picture here is of a woman who is giving birth, and she's in this labor and delivery process. And what happens, her body is going through changes, and every time a contraction hits her, she opens. The contraction hits and it opens, but then what happens is that the change has not come, because it then slips back some. And every contraction opens a little bit more, and then it goes back some, but not quite as far back as where the previous one was. And then it opens and goes back, and opens and goes back, and opens and goes back, until finally it is not slipping back, because once you are fully dilated and then 100% effaced, now you're not having the change that has opened you up. Now you are not having a problem with the thing slipping back, because now your change has come. It has been established. It's staying this time. That is not fickle anymore. That I've got a change now that has come, and now this thing is set and I'm wide open now. But I got something in me that needs to be birthed. And once you get into the birthing position and you have gone through the crisis and the agony of dealing with contractions hitting you, you have been bearing the pain, you got hope, because you know what you got in you. You're not understanding that, hey, this pain that I'm dealing with right now, this is not just gas. I'm about to give birth to something. I've got life in me. I've got something that is going to bless the world in me. And the moment that I get opened up, listen, until you get opened up, they tell you don't push. Because if you push before you're fully dilated, you'll swell your cervix. And you're going to have a real problem. You might have to have a cesarean then, because you got to take and let patience to have her perfect work. And you got to blow this thing and resist the urge to push. But once you fully dilate and your change has come, they'll check you, and now you're fully dilated and 100% effaced. And now it is time for you to just push with every pain that you feel. And you've got to get your baby out any kind of way, because all of the days of my hard labor, I am waiting. I got something in me, and I've got to get it out. And when you let the power of God, you ought to know that you are pregnant with something from God. I'm talking to people that are not barren right now. I'm talking to somebody that's got a vision in them, a dream in them, a business in them, an album in them, a book in them, a song in them. I'm talking to somebody that's got a ministry in you. There is something that God has birthed on the inside of you. It is hurting you to get it out. But I declare to you, you know it's in you. Push when you get open. When my change comes, he has set me wide open. And he's saying, push, baby, push. Push it out. Go ahead every time you feel the urge to push. Push. Pray until something happens. Keep on pushing. You know it's got life in it. It's been kicking you. It's been keeping you up at night. Push, 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 push. Give birth to what God has placed on the inside of you. It wasn't designed to stay in you. It was designed for you to give birth. Life, life, life is on the inside of you. When your change comes, it abides. And this is what I say, that change is inevitable, but growth is optional. So what I call this change that abides, I call it growth. Growth is sustained change. That means when you open this time, that God sets the gate open until the birthing comes through. Some of you all have been with God and you've got something from God, and it's been germinating in your spirit, and you've been ready. The time to be ready is not the time to get ready. You don't have to pray for opportunities. You have to pray to be ready, work to be ready. So when the opportunity comes, you're ready. When that gate opens, you've got to be ready to seize the moment, because the opportunity of a lifetime is only available during the lifetime of the opportunity. You got to be ready to seize this thing. You got to be ready to seize it. And I'm just sensing in my spirit that there are some folks here that are pregnant with something from God. You are so frustrated. You've not been able to sleep well at night. Your baby has been kicking you on the inside. Even when I've been talking about it, you've been having pain because it hurts you, because you realize that it's about time for this thing to come out. You've been bent out of shape, and stuff that used to fit you does not fit you any longer. You used to be satisfied in this, but now you put it on and you're terribly uncomfortable. That I know that I'm built for something bigger than this. That there's something that God has put on the inside of me. I didn't give it to myself. I got it from him. And I've got something on the inside of me, and I've got a responsibility. I've got a burden. It might not have worked the last time I tried it, but maybe I wasn't open wide enough then. And now he's setting up the gates for you to push. God is giving you a divine setup. All of the days of my appointed time will I wait. There is an appointed time that every vision, the vision is for an appointed time. It is for an appointed time. It is an appointed time, an appointed season. He says, though it tarry, wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for me to open up the gates. When I open it up, you'll know it's time to push now. You got to be checked every now and then to see whether you're dilated enough. That I got to be open enough, because there are some things not really to try to get into you, but it's something to get out of you. When God blesses you, the blessing of God, when you bless, to bless not only means to empower, to prosper, but when somebody blesses you, they're not putting something in you, they're releasing something that is out of you, that God put on the inside of you. If you get blessed from anything that I do for you in your life, it's not because I put it there. I'm only releasing what God had already put in you. So when you really get blessed, something, a release comes. You can't really move. You should never move until you get a release from God. And when God releases you, he says it's time to push now. Because I'm getting ready to change your financial situation. I'm getting ready to change your relationship. I'm getting ready to change your marital status. I'm getting ready to change. A change is coming. I'm just telling you, we're stepping into a season now of divine shifting. A divine shifting. I'm coming into a place where I'll be able to have a release to teach you about the shift of God. Because there's some things that are shifting. There's a changing of the guard. The old is dying and the new is being birthed in. There is a shift. A change is coming. Your impatience does not rush God's season. He does not set his watch or change the appointing of the time based on your inconvenience and impatience. It comes because God has set things in his own timing. Our times are in his hands. And God has the timing so that when you do it at the time that God tells you to do it, it'll work. If he says let down your nets on the other side of the ship, I know you've been out all night, you've toiled all night, you've worked all night, and it failed. But this time you'll go at his word. And when you let it down, it'll be wide open. And when you let your net down, you'll come in for a drought and you'll take in something this time and it'll fill your life and it'll give you double for your trouble of everything that you went to the first time. Change is coming. Change is coming. All of the days of my appointed time, of my hard service, change, because God's maturing you in the process. This thing was said, God was saying, I had to grow you up, baby girl. I've got to grow you up, baby boy, because I didn't want you to squander the blessing that I was going to bring into your life. And I wanted you to be able to praise me. And God says that I wanted to give you so much trouble in trying to birth this thing that nobody could say that man did it for you. I'm going to do it in such a way that my divine signature is on it to say nobody but God. When they look at what you birthed, they're going to know that God was the father of it. They're going to know that God authored this thing, that he is the author and the finisher of it, and that what God started in your life, though it tarry, wait. Some of your spirits have become broken and you've become discouraged and you've wondered, am I ever going to get it? Because they keep misbehaving. Something is wrong with these folks. But God says in my timing, when I speak, living things will lay down and die, and dead things will rise up and live. Can these bones live again? There are dead dreams and visions and passions that God put on the inside of you. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Some of you have sick hearts because your vision has tarried and delayed. And I hear God say that I am not a man that I should lie, neither the son of man that I should repent. Though it tarry, though it tarry, though it tarry, though it tarry. I know that there has been some delay, but don't let a divine delay be turned into a devilish disappointment, because you've not understood the purposes of God in the delay. That God says, I had to wait on the maturation. God says that many of you have chosen and have gotten into bad relationships because you picked something that was not ripe. It had not matured, and you deal with an immature man, an immature woman, and now you've got chaos in your home, chaos in your life, chaos in your emotion, because you picked that in your impatience. And you did not wait for an appointed time. You didn't let them mature. And so they do childish things that irritate the tar out of you. All of the days of my appointed time will I wait until my change comes. There's got to be a right temperament and environment in the market. When you go at God's timing, that what you tried at this time that failed, this time, all of the days God will cause the change this time to abide, to be set, to be established, so that when it opens up this time, you won't go away with a discouraged head scratching, wondering, God, I thought that you said this. I thought that this was my timing, that God will bring clarity to it, because God was really waiting to mature you. There's a maturity that waits in God. There are certain blessings that God can bring into your life that are only for mature people. Because when you get it too young, you squander the blessing. And you spend it on foolishness because you don't understand the purpose. But God says, now I've let you have enough pain. I've matured you enough. I've let you lose enough now so that this thing will be valued. And so you won't get caught up in pride thinking that I did it. God says, I will do it in such a way where you'll know that it's me. And nobody looking at you will think that you could have made it happen. But it's because God put his divine favor on you, and God opened doors and opened relationship, and God put you in the right place at the right time.
Thank you for watching Power for Living with Bishop Dale C. Bronner. Until next time, God bless you.